The final pick of the first round, we have the Los Angeles Clippers taking Yanic Konan Niederhauser out of Penn State. This was a guy who soared up during the draft process just because of his size, his measurables, crazy height and wingspan combo, and great athletic testing as well from a vertical standpoint. If you look at some of the advanced metrics from this past year, both his rebounding rate, his block rate, his dunks, profile very similarly to other successful lob threat rim protectors in the league right now, like Walker Kessler, like Derek Lively. I think he lacks some of the mobility and some of the agility that characterizes those defenders to make them more versatile with who they can switch onto, the type of schemes they can play in. Still a lot to like about his game. Dion, where are you at on Yannick? What do you think of him as a player?
Jackson Hayes. No, I don't mean that complimentary.
When we talked about him for the scouting report video, it was a tough sell to get you on board with Yannick. I see the vision, but I also see the downside.
Yeah, I don't get it. But like at 30, I mean, and to the Clippers, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, why not? Like, why not? Like the Clippers want to play Zubac the overwhelming majority of their center minutes. They want to go small for a good chunk of the remaining minutes, and then they just need somebody to fill in the blanks, right? Like I'm not here to say Yannick can't do that, but I think we're talking about Jackson Hayes if he's lucky. And I don't think Jackson Hayes is very good. He got a resurgence with the Lakers. I don't think he was good on the Lakers, but like Luca threw a couple of lobs and he made some highlight plays and everybody lost their minds, right? And we could just forget about every other bad play that he made. And I think that's something that Yannick might do a lot of for the Clippers. But I mean, mostly, I don't know what their like G League team is, but that's where he'll be for the most part.
Yeah. I want to see him continue to refine his game. It was initially when he didn't hit the portal and tested the draft process, it was kind of seen as this confounding move where, had he stayed in college another year, had he hit the portal, someone would have given him a big seven-figure deal. Granted, now he's getting that guaranteed money, so it worked out for him, which shout out to him for banking on himself. But yeah, I do wonder a little bit, even with, where he profiles favorably to guys like Lively and Kessler, it's not that rare to find in the NBA guys who can catch a lob and who can block shots. I will say, I mean, he led the Big Ten in blocks, led the MAC in blocks the year before that. He started out at Northern Illinois, which I think that part is intriguing to me just to see how he worked his way up to go from a bottom dweller MAC team to the first round of the NBA draft in 2 years. Really impressive. And the athleticism, like I already mentioned at the top, the dunks are really emphatic, really good hands. I think that's where the Jackson Hayes comp would fall a little bit short. I've never watched Jackson Hayes and thought like, oh, he is for sure going to catch this ball in traffic and not bobble it and finish with authority. Niederhauser, on the other hand, doesn't really drop passes. I think that could maybe earn him some trust early. But yeah, at this point in the draft, you're talking late first round. 9 times out of 10, you're looking at a guy who's going to be bottom half of the rotation, if not in the G League. So even though I like his long-term upside, you just got to be real. At this point, there's a very good chance that he's never much of a factor, even though he's getting good money and his gamble on himself worked out for him.
Got paid more in the NBA than he would have in college, right? Like there, we do a lot of like, hey, he made more money to stay, he made more money to go, whatever, whatever. It's very clear he got more money to go. And he got 4 years of it, right? Because if he goes back to college, who's to say like what happens? So I think he's a very big winner of the of like this grouping where like a lot of players decided to go back. And Yannick kind of cashed in because he didn't go back. And now, like literally, he was one pick away from having to fight for his life every single year to play. And instead, he got, I guess, technically it's 2 years guaranteed with two team options,
Mhm.
but it's pretty close to 4 years guaranteed if you do like the right things. And if he gets to a second contract in the NBA, that's a healthy chunk of change in its own right.
Do you see any world where he could be that backup five man in LA sooner rather than later?
No, no.
Not
No,
at
but
all.
that's the thing. The Clippers don't want a backup five necessarily. They kind of want to go small, like after Zubac comes out. Like it's let's use Zubac. If a team goes small on us, we'll pull Zubac. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I think he plays a little. I think he honestly probably plays a little bit more than some of the guys picked in the 10 or so picks above him. Because when you go down that list, like Drake Powell playing right away for Brooklyn. I hope so. Because like you went to Brooklyn. Like you have to play on the Nets. Like I hope you get to play.
Yeah.
A loaded roster though. Jace, I mean, Brooklyn's not a loaded roster by any means, but like there's a lot of players at his position, is what I mean by that.
Mhm.
Jace, Orlando's actually a loaded roster, right? But like the Spares, I see the vision for him playing right away in Miami.
Mhm.
Will Riley in Washington, eh, playing over Bilal, Bub, Middleton, CJ, Keyshawn George, even Alex Sarr to an extent. That's tough.
Mhm.
Tough for a guy like Will Riley to play 5 minutes. Yannick has a lot less competition than a lot of the guys picked above him.
Mhm. Yeah, even looking at their roster, there's just not a ton of bigs, but that goes into the style you were saying. If it's not Zubats, they're probably gonna go small. I mean, it doesn't seem all that far fetched that he could beat out like Drew Eubanks in time, however long he'll be there. But you just don't know what sort of scheme they're going to run if they want him in there to have a little insurance for Zubats, if they want to stay big. To me, though, if you look at it in a vacuum, being on a team like the Clippers where you have multiple shot creators and all you have to do is what you're good at already and just catch some lobs, I think there could be a world where he finds a role.
Yeah, he only. Oh, I'm sorry. My
No, you're
bad.
good.
He only has to beat out Eubanks. And he's
Right.
beating out a guy who's not a five, by the way. Because they played Eubanks and Simmons at the five, but like those aren't fives. They're trying to spread the floor. So, well, not with Simmons, but let's go small with Simmons at the five, right? I don't think, like I said, so much less competition than a lot of the guys picked in front of him.
Yeah,
So much less competition to get on the court. So it's extremely possible. If it's one thing about the Clippers, we know they're probably not going to bring in another big, too. They're probably going to sign like 17 more wings. They have all the wings in the world on this roster. They're going
Mhm.
to continue to do so. That's not me saying he's going to play because I do think they go small with that second rotation. But hey, I think he has a better chance than. And like Danny Wolf was picked a few picks ahead of him. I think Danny Wolf has a much better chance of playing on the Clippers than he does the Nets. And I know that sounds crazy, but that's just the way the rosters are set up. I think it's true.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, he's a good piece, a good upside swing, especially at this point in the draft. I don't think there's like a ton of other picks that you're thinking, oh, they should have taken this guy instead, who's more of a sure thing or whatever. Like, why not take the swing on the guy who led a power conference in blocks and who's freakishly like explosive, has good size and great hands. Good pick. Don't know how much of an impact he'll make in year one, but maybe in time we'll see him be a more mainstay in that rotation.